Good afternoon. I think we better wait for like a few minutes until people start coming in the room. What do you think? Should I wait for a few more minutes? Yeah, it's. I can see them coming. I can see them coming. No. I've been there. I've been there before. I'm sorry. Yeah. Just 1 second, since nobody's here. Can we tell people to come in? They're still outside. Nobody's in the room. Thanks. I think it's the panel before us. They were bored, put it that way. This is a lively one. Please come in. That's my sales pitch, Sam. Hello. I think we're streamed live, and so probably I can begin. So. Okay, whomever is here, welcome to the 14th session of MEDays. U.S. foreign policy, paradigm shift, its global implications in a polarized world. And on January 20th, 2025, the U.S. has returned to its traditional, however, fundamentally recalibrated doctrine. President Trump revived the America First ethos. However, with a structured blend of economic coercion, transactional diplomacy, and selective engagement. We will be discussing these issues today, and we will try to unpack this paradigm shift. And for that objective, we have a great panel of experts. And the logistics, I would ask each member of the panel to speak 3 to 5 minutes, and then I would also urge them to engage with each others and with the audience. Feel free to interrupt if you disagree, please. And after 3 to 5 minutes, we all complete your brief interventions. I will open the floor to the audience, and we take Q&As, and I always find it interesting to engage the audience. And let me begin by asking...
I think that American foreign policy has been run by such a small, tight-knit group like it is now, yeah.
Thank you very much. Gina Abercrombie, please. Winstanley.
Well, we've been very broad. The question is of interpreting our America First. I would argue that it's an imperfect definition of what America First means. Without the dependability of a clear and somewhat consistent policy, allies and adversaries are not able to anticipate and cooperate effectively. This may be useful for adversaries because they don't know what to expect. They can't count on certain things, so they may make them more cautious or not. We've seen in this foreign policy in this second Trump administration leadership that expresses one view on one day and something quite different the day after. You cannot depend on what's coming out of the White House or the State Department and that it's going to continue. Whether it is there must be a ceasefire in the Gaza Strip, and the president got one the second day after his inauguration, or very soon after, I've forgotten now, that he was able to impose, unlike presidents before him, and get both sides to adhere to it, and then he lost interest, and the Israeli side broke the ceasefire in March without any consequence that would have allowed it to hold and the process to get somewhere useful for the long term. We've seen it on Ukraine, where the president has alternatively blamed Russia and blamed Ukraine, and blamed Russia and blamed Ukraine, and supports Ukraine and supports Russia. And it is difficult for anyone to trust that there is going to be longevity and commitment from the US government on a particular policy. And this makes it difficult to put America first because nobody knows what that means in the long term. I think you're absolutely right about a small group of people running foreign policy, but not necessarily well. And there are wonderful examples of success, and yet the success being squandered immediately after. And again, we could turn to Gaza, where the president had a peace plan, got the United Nations to sign onto it, applauded by the Israelis, which makes clear it was decidedly one-sided, but in place. And yet, as everyone reads on a daily basis, there is no de facto ceasefire. Bombings continue. People are continuing to be killed. Aid is not flowing into the Gaza Strip as it was outlined in that peace plan. And so what indeed does that mean? There was success, and I would argue it's being squandered. There can be success in other policy announcements, but without predictability, not only a year from now, but a month from now, as to what those how do you make decisions long term, which businesses must do with such a mercurial foreign policy? My view is that this is not America first, because it's important for America to be trusted so that people remain allies. That transactional is insufficient for long term.
Gina, quick question before I ask Paul Salem to express his views. You don't see any value in the Trump administration approach not to rely on the foreign policy traditional establishment? I mean, for decades, people who would argue that President Trump is shaking the foundations, he is scoring, he's resolving issues. For decades, the US foreign policy establishment, people would say, managed crisis and conflicts. And recently in the Middle East, it was a bad management of crisis. Don't you see any value that what he's trying to do to circumvent and to try to bypass the career diplomats and all these long processes and that don't lead to any conclusion on any conflict? You don't see any value in his new approach?
Oh, I absolutely do, but there still has to be some consistency with the changes that you make. Listen, a broken clock is right twice a day. I can absolutely point to what I consider successes in this administration and applaud them. And certainly the ceasefires that the president has demanded, I would say clarity about Ukraine, that it is not a winnable war, is a reasonable position to take, but a certain consistency to it is lacking. And therefore, how much have we really moved forward? And I would argue not nearly sufficiently. And if you are using professionals, you've stated your policy, you make clear what you want to accomplish, and
Thank you. Gina, please, quickly.
yes, you know, upheaval and change is what we are in the midst of. And it always has an opportunity to be positive or very negative. I would argue that where we are now and what the United States is enhancing, we didn't begin it, but we are enhancing it. Authoritarianism has been tossed around, xenophobia, racism, et cetera, that what the big loser is international law, are the institutions that were put in place to try and protect the weak, to move us away from might makes right, however imperfectly that it has been interpreted over the years, that we are ripping away all of those things now. And who can gainsay, who can complain about genocide in the Gaza Strip, or war crimes in Ukraine or Sudan, which we have not talked about as far as I know so far, when the powers that be are embracing it, not apologizing for it, and boldly going forward. We used to at least apologize for it or try and do it
Thank you, Gina.
quietly.
Thank you. I would like to thank you for attending this session, and I would like to thank our panelists for their views. And in the age of misinformation and deep fake and AI, if you are confused, it means you are normal. So thank you for coming.
And thank you.